Welcome back, everyone. I am Tony Reyes. Joining me, as always, is Chris Billings and Nick Kerr. We are the Sports Buds. This is the NFL show, Week 9. Let's get into it. Most pressing news, Dan Snyder trying to escape the federal government, possibly going to sell the Commanders because of them being hot on his trail. What were your thoughts on hearing about this, Nick?
I mean, I guess the fans are going to get what they've been asking for and finally sell the team.
It's time.
It's something. Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm in no position to speak right now with my franchise, but it's been scandal after scandal with this team and with him in particular. So I think it's time.
You've never had shit pipes though, like leak on you during a game. Though.
Very true.
Your stadium has progressively gotten better.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd say like FedEx Field's gotten progressively worse.
Yeah. The difference is our owner actually put money into the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little worried as a Cowboys fan because I feel like that means a competent owner is going to buy that team, which means that that Washington will not always be that team that just exists for the Cowboys to always be like, you know what, at least we're not them. Yeah. Maybe that'll put pressure on them. Maybe that'll put pressure on the Cowboys. I don't know, but I just feel like this is just going to be like Jeff Bezos is like circling like that vulture, just waiting for that, like the second that sale happens for him to put his hat in the ring. Like $6 billion.
Better yet, Tony, though, you should really be worried because the NFL is going to need a new villain. And you know who that's going to be? It's going to be Jerry Jones.
What about? I got whatabouts going on. That's how you know I'm worried. We're 2 minutes in and I'm going to whatabouts. What about what's going on with the Arizona Cardinals ownership? I mean, what about what's going on there? Maybe the Raiders ownership. I am just grasping at straws here. There's got to be some bad ownership happen. Cleveland.
Yeah, only one owner I know, though, goes on a radio show weekly and sometimes steps in it a little bit.
Yeah. Of course. But Deshaun Watson,
and they've always been able to say, like, hey, like I'm not even the worst owner in my own division, so leave me alone. Not going to be the case anymore.
Damn it! No, this is true. These are things that have me worried. Man. God bless it.
Also, Jim Irsay, huge Washington Commanders fan. Who would have thought?
Bad. Apparently, they had the votes. From what I read, that they had the votes. That they just were like they just didn't want to go through the process, and this was like a more like formal thing where it was kind of like a soft like Robert Sarver, just like Sarver, like, hey, we have the votes. We don't really want to do this. The whole Irsay thing is like the most that we're gonna go ahead and say publicly. But hey, this would probably be a good idea for you to get out now. The federal government's asking us about too many things that we have to answer and shit. So yeah. I don't know.
Shame.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a worse person.
That's true. Well, good for the fans. At least the fans will get to see a team that is like at least competent, at least compete every week. All right. So the big news of the week, the trade deadline. 10 trades went down on trade deadline day, including Chris Billings' Broncos sending Bradley Chubb to Nick's Miami Dolphins. How do you feel about that trade, Nick?
I mean, I couldn't be more excited about it because one of the glaring weaknesses on our defense so far is not being able to get to the passer. And that's something Chubb can definitely do. And once he starts getting to the passer, the corners won't have to cover as long. Plus them getting back healthy. We're still down probably 3 corners right now. But pairing him with Jalen Phillips, who over the last 3 weeks has been getting to the quarterback, just not getting there, should definitely help. So I'm definitely excited about this trade.
How do you feel about it on the other end, Billings?
Like we were on the Broncos end, we were never going to pay him. And that's the thing. Like he never turned out to be the edge rusher that we necessarily thought he was going to be. He just didn't have kind of that bend around the corner like Von Miller has. great for run defense, but just never really panned out for what basically we had to give away for him, which was Josh Allen. Let's be honest. So, but like to get a first for him, like that just helps kind of recover from some of the loss for Russell Wilson trade and whatnot. So it is a win-win there. Nick was sharing videos of like Emmanuel Acho with us where like it's like this is huge for the Dolphins. They're suddenly Super Bowl contenders. Like I'm not gonna go that far. I'm certainly gonna say like you guys are contenders in the AFC, but like I feel like Emmanuel Acho is just looking at paper and seeing like, oh yeah, 5.5 sacks. Like, Miami Dolphins, their pass rusher, 3 sacks. And being like, oh yeah, like this is a huge step up. Like he still needs to stay healthy for y'all.
Yeah.
And then like he needs to get to the quarterback, which he wasn't quite able to do with us. Now,
I mean,
hopefully with the
sacks in the last 5.5 sacks in 7 games.
Yeah, but
8 games.
Like that's honestly like that's been probably the best game stretch we've had out of him in his entire career with the Broncos. And it's almost like we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop of like, oh yeah, like we've watched all these other pass rushers on our team go down, like Benito, Browning, etc. So we were just expecting Chubb to be next. And so like that's the big thing. If he can stay healthy with Miami, deal for y'all. And then like that's the thing, like we were never going to sign him to $100 million deal. Best of luck to Miami. Like they're clearly going with the fuck them picks strategy, and they should.
I mean, that first round pick that we gave you guys is basically going to be a high second round pick because that's the San Francisco 49ers pick. And with them getting Christian McCaffrey, they could go deep in the playoffs.
They'll most likely win that division, is what it's looking like.
Kudos to the Dolphins GM, Chris Greer, because as we've said, and I think Nick did share with us, I believe the Dolphins turned 1 first-round draft pick into Tyreek Hill, now Bradley Chubb, and
Jalen Waddle.
And Jalen Waddle out of 1 first-round pick. That's pretty good. And as
we got in the Laramie Tunsil trade.
That's
by
true.
the way.
And so, as I was saying, Chris was alluding to it, the fuck them picks strategy that the Rams have made popular, we're seeing to be much more copied throughout the league. And that's why we saw 10 deadline day trades. And I don't know. I feel like
even beyond the Rams, I'll say it's you have a QB on a rookie contract.
Exactly.
Like, go now. Like he's clearly
competent. You have to pay him, yeah.
He's clearly competent enough that he can win you playoff games. And if you can go on a run like the Bengals did last year, like do it. Push the chips in on those rookie contracts. So you've seen it be successful before. So it's not just the Rams and the fuck them pick strategy. It also is just those rookie contracts. You got to take advantage if you have a QB that you can rely on.
And that's why the Seahawks were so much better while Russell Wilson was on that rookie contract. Because once they had to pay him, they weren't able to pay the talent that they put around him to go to those Super Bowls.
Well, it's a lot of teams once they had to pay. Just went down demonstrably.
That's the only team the rookie contract quarterback thing has ever worked for. So, I mean, it is interesting that you bring that up.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
That's true. But I think I don't know if like it was like they spent all this money because they had Patrick Mahomes. I think they still
that's the reason Tyreek Hill's in Miami right now, right? Because they had to pay Patrick Mahomes.
I think they could have kept him. I think they could have kept him. I don't know, but like I was saying, I don't know if they were utilizing.
But to your point that we talked about last week, like were they necessarily getting like the full efficiency of them on that offense?
Yeah.
Where you have so many mouths to feed and so many talented receivers and offensive weapons. Like I think they realized that what they would have had to pay for them and what they would have necessarily got efficiency wise didn't match up.
I agree because they had Kelsey. And we're seeing how the Packers tried the same thing with Devontae Adams and it didn't work. And to some extent, the Cowboys with Amari Cooper. And it is interesting that we're talking about this. It does lead to, I think the Bengals really ruined football, man. And it's not the Bengals offense, it's the Bengals defense. Because they're the ones that stifled Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense last year. And they laid that blueprint out and that game plan out. And since then, football is not exciting anymore. There are not many exciting chunk plays. Scoring is down. All of these games are a lot closer. The only two quarterbacks that look good are Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and the rest of the league all looks the same. And every single team, it's just all about the weapons that are around a quarterback. The quarterback is literally almost like meaningless unless it's those two dudes. Maybe Lamar Jackson, because he is kind of like that one guy. But other than that, the rest of the league all looks the same.
I don't know. I'm getting pretty excited with the games I'm watching.
You have
I see chunk plays. I see plenty of chunk plays.
You have the offensive players.
But you said it's only Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
But those are the only two quarterbacks that look good. The rest of the quarterbacks all look the same, and it's all just the weapons around them.
Okay.
You want to tell me that Jalen Hurts is all of a sudden an MVP? Tua's all of a sudden an MVP? It's the weapons around
Prove me
them.
wrong. Prove me wrong.
It's the weapons around them.
Well,
it's the weapons around them.
Okay, so when Tua has fucking Devontae Parker and 5 people that we just got at fucking Publix, it's Tua fucking sucks. Tua sucks. But now that he actually has people to throw to, Joe Burrow doesn't have fucking people to throw to? Look what he's doing with Jamar Chase out. Does he look human?
It doesn't look the best.
Oh, look at Justin Herbert. Does he not look human with out Keenan Allen and Mike Williams?
But those two dudes, like I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill, and he doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
Josh
but
Allen,
don't say that those are the only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL that look good right now.
They are the only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL that look good right now.
All right, we'll just agree to disagree on this one.
Everyone else looks like it's all dependent on the surrounding parts.
Josh Allen but Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are also surrounded by talent. But
I think that the Tyreek Hill thing is showing that Patrick Mahomes doesn't need Tyreek Hill. And then I think that Josh
Allen,
I said,
it's more an efficiency thing that their offense is that good. Their biggest problem was fixing their offensive line last year, which they did. They took care of. And then they realized with Tyreek Hill of like, oh, we can get Juju Smith-Schuster in here, pay him less, and he's essentially going to get as many just thrown 2 balls. And efficiency-wise, it's going to pan out for us. And like we still have Kelsey as our number 1, and I think that was the equation they made in their head. Whereas, like, I think Mike McDaniel's made the same equation with Tua. Like, if I can get a guy that can just fucking run out there, and he can get the long ball too, and I can actually like build an offense around like his strengths, it works. Like it was just an efficiency equation. I credit Mike McDaniel and I credit the Chiefs both for the decisions made in that deal.
It's different because I think that what we're seeing in Miami is what we saw the Niners do with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's surrounded by elite talent, and all of the talent around him is awesome. Deebo Samuel's awesome. Christian McCaffrey's awesome. Kittle's awesome. When those dudes get the ball, they make plays. The yards after the catch is very high. What are they doing in Miami? When those dudes get the ball, they make plays.
Have you seen the rankings on yard after catch right now? Because the Dolphins rank in the bottom half. So don't use that argument.
Good.
Don't use that argument.
Good. They get the ball, and
Tyreek Hill is leading the league in receiving yards, maybe.
Yes, he is great. Tyreek Hill is great.
His yards after the catch isn't what you're saying, so don't use that argument.
They changed.
Look at the standings.
Play them.
They're in the bottom half of the NFL in yards after catch.
But the defenses play them differently because of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You have the fastest receivers in the league. The corners get tired as the game goes on. They can't play in the same way as they play other teams. It's just like this is how the weapons argument is. This is what we're seeing now with the league getting much more closer because the Bengals defense did this to the Chiefs. That's why they got rid of Tyreek Hill. They're like, we can't do this with explosiveness anymore. How are we going to do this? We got to do this with 12 to 15 play drives down the field. It's bend but don't break defenses. It's double 2 high safeties. Nobody's having deep balls anymore. And so they pretty much ruined this. They ruined it. And so I don't know how they're going to fix it. Scoring is down. Everything's all close together. I don't know.
I'm going to vote that we move on, but I will say this. Wide receivers, dime a dozen.
Except for Tyreek Hill. Right? Except for Tyreek Hill. All right. We'll move on to the power rankings. This is my interesting little twist on the power rankings. Most of the sports books I've seen are offering this now. Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles to win the Super Bowl versus the field. Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles all together are favored minus 150, and the field is actually the underdog at plus 125. At this point, would you lean towards the field or those three teams to win the Super Bowl? Because, I mean, that's really what we're doing with those power rankings.
I mean, I would lead toward those three teams at this point.
Really?
I would.
Billings?
Ah, man. The AFC just stinks. The normal contenders in the NFC just like clearly aren't playing up to it. So yeah, like I would have to take the Bills, Eagles, and Chiefs as well. Like it just everybody else just seems to be like it's bad teams beating on bad teams.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like I would take the field.
Well, I think back to our earlier point, like I think that's why the Dolphins like they see that as well, and they push those chips in of just like this field all around sucks, and like we've already gotten over one of the teams, the Bills. So really, like it would just be like getting over like the Eagles or the Chiefs potentially.
I know it's
And
interesting.
so yeah, like having a pass rusher, like get to Patrick, you got to get to Patrick Mahomes, like you got to get to Josh Allen. You can't, and one of the things that was hurting the Dolphins was really all they could do was just blitz on defense. So like I think they see this just as much as Vegas does of like these are the three teams that we have to potentially get past.
The Vikings too. That's why they made their deal.
Same, yeah, same.
They think they're making a move. The Niners made their move for McCaffrey. I mean, like I was saying, I think running backs are like underrated. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like they're underrated. Maybe that's me just
it's one of those things that like you don't like when you have like that bell cow back, you don't necessarily appreciate it when you have it, but when you're missing it, it hurts on offense.
And multiple teams have gone to the multiple running back approach because you have to have more than one, because with this 17 game brutal season, you're bound to go down. Some teams have 2-3 backs that they need to rely on.
Yeah, unless you're Derrick Henry, apparently.
It just seems like it's easy to assume that you're going to be able to find a replacement level back in the draft and stuff. And some of these guys, they're not easily replaced. And I don't know what the number is. Like there's some certain guys that I'm just like, dude, you're not finding a Saquon Barkley in the draft. Like I don't care when you draft. Like that's like you're not finding another Derrick
I
Henry.
think it's different though in the draft nowadays. Like you're not finding NFL ready running backs as much these days, where they can just jump right in and take those hits and take the speed of the game. Like they have to build into it nowadays. It seems like you don't get too many that are just ready to go and are running, for 100 yards a game.
This is true. It's rare. You only get maybe one, maybe two every year. I don't know.
Well, it's just college in general with them all just going to these spread offenses and whatnot as well. And they're getting, and then additionally, like they're getting like these tiny pass catching running backs as well that can just hide behind like huge offensive linemen. So much different. And then, yeah, they just come into the league and get beat up nowadays.
Yeah, but we've seen how valuable a good running back can make life easy for a quarterback. Shanahan went after McCaffrey for a reason. I mean,
of course, yes. And the Titans have been relevant because of a running back for how many years?
Yeah. It's interesting. we'll see. We'll see what happens. Move forward here to these power rankings. Looks like we had Vikings, Dolphins, Ravens, Vikings, Cowboys, as in this tier right below the Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles that we were discussing. My Cowboys are right outside that top 5. They're close. They're close. I really was disappointed to see them not be able to make a move to get another wide receiver, despite the Brandon Cooks.
You guys could have had
noise.
Cedric Wilson back.
Why'd you even sign him? Why? You don't
We
need
saw,
him.
we signed him before we knew we were getting Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we signed him. Because we didn't want to go into the season with Devontae Parker being number 1. Well, he wasn't even that number 1 toward the end of the season. It was Jalen Waddle, but we needed another option.
And boy, did you get one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He didn't want to go and be a Jet. I can't blame him.
But no, like Dolphins, I would say at this point, I would rank them higher than the Ravens. The Ravens, just that defense is bad for, I think for the Ravens to do anything, they'd have to go on like a Bengals like run where they're outscoring opponents. They're just getting into shootouts and scoring 40 to 50 points
Well,
a
that was the
game.
hope with getting Raekwon
Roquan.
Smith from
Yeah.
the Bears to try to shore up that defense a little bit.
Yeah. I'm a lot higher.
I think it's too little too late. Everybody was a lot higher on that than myself. I just, man, that defense is terrible.
We'll see. We'll see if he can shore it up. Let's move forward to these standings. I did get first last week. Nick right behind me and Chris still trailing. You can check us out on the social media spheres, Instagram and Twitter. We will post those records and our picks this weekend. Let's get into some of these spreads here. Gross. Eagles, Texans, 13-point game. Don't know how the World Series is influencing football scheduling. That's pretty much the only reason I took the Texans. I thought maybe the Eagles would be thinking about the Phillies game.
There's a lot of bad national
Yeah.
games this
There really
week.
is.
It's oof.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the schedule makers just wanted to get them all out of the way 1 week.
I wouldn't be surprised. This is a mishmash. Chargers, Falcons, 3 points. Chargers are favored. I taking the Chargers. I don't really feel good about it. Both of you guys. Why are you taking the Falcons, Chris?
Falcons actually seem like a pretty decent team this year, and like shockingly might win that division. But yeah, like Mariota, however it goes, heard it both ways. It's looking pretty decent this year. And then also, as we like to say on this show, classic West Coast team going to the East Coast. It never pans out well, especially for the Chargers. They do terrible on the East Coast. So I'm going with the Falcons in this one to win the game.
Yes, I'm going with the Falcons as well because that Chargers team is beat up at wide receiver. Justin Herbert's going to have no one to throw it to, but Falcons defenders.
Fair. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Next, Dolphins going to the Bears. 5-point favorites on the road. Billings taking the Bears. Why?
I take the home underdog. This is more just betting. I think that the Bears probably do a late comeback and close that gap and finish by at least 4 or 3 points, but Dolphins still win. But like that's still a good win. It's like for any AFC team to just go into Chicago, get a win in November, and then just come out, it's good. So like this game will be a little tougher than most people I think are going to call out this week. Most people are just going to be like, oh yeah, Dolphins going to go in and kill it most likely, which they very well could, knowing that Bears team. But I just don't think that's the case. I think Bears will play them tight, and it's just playing on the road, playing against a home underdog. Dolphins win by 3 or 4 points.
Nick.
I think this team's starting to gel, and with getting Bradley Chubb on defense. Hopefully they won't give up as many points in the first half because this team has actually played well. This defense has played well in the second halves of games. They haven't given up much points all year. So it's about getting that first half. So hopefully the defense can hold them, and we'll see.
This has got Dolphins blowout written all over it, man. Bears selling players. Claypool, get out of here with that nonsense. What are you even trying to do? Just trying to make sure Justin Fields is an accurate quarterback. Dolphins win the game big. Bears stink. They are well coached, but they're not staying with the Dolphins. Dolphins win by a touchdown. Panthers, Bengals. Bengals 7.5-point favorites. They looked like shit. Like Nick was saying. It was Halloween though. I think that maybe Joe Burrow was scared. He was scared. He was scared. He looked scared. Myles Garrett made him look scared.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I would have been scared. I'm the only one picking the Bengals in the 7.5-point spread. You guys are backing PJ Walker. Tell me why. Tell me why.
I mean, this Panthers team has been playing better since the firing and trading away their best player somehow, some way. And like I said before, this Bengals team just doesn't look the same without Jamar Chase.
Billings?
I'd be terrified as well if I played behind that offensive line for the Bengals. But yeah, just for me, once again, betting thing, that half point, that 7.5 points. Yeah, that's just awkward. Bengals have not looked good, so I do not see them covering by more than a touchdown in this game. So I took the Panthers as well.
Get right game. Joe Burrow looks good. Packers, Lions. Packers 3-point favorites on the road. Nick taking the Lions. The only one taking the Lions. Tell me why.
Because Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look the same. And I think that this Lions team just sends them further down. Packers didn't make any moves at the trade deadline.
Fair?
Aaron Rodgers wasn't happy about it. I think it carries on into the game.
Billings?
I will shotgun a beer live on the post game if the Lions beat the Packers. That would be glorious. Mark me down because I will fucking dance all over the death of Aaron Rodgers in that game. I took the Packers though. That Lions team sucks. I can't take them anymore this season.
Yeah. We're too happy before the show when I told him Matt Patricia has a better record than Dan Campbell as head coach of the Lions.
That hurt. Shout out to the pencil guy.
All right, we've got
Shotgun a beer though. I hope it happens. I hope you do it, Lions.
That's the deal. Get Chris drinking on the post game. That's what we need. God, man, you need a drink to watch some of these games. We got the Colts and Sam Ellinger on the road at the Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites. We all took the Patriots. I know that Nick wanted to bury this team. Tell me why he's taking this team over the Colts.
Because they're playing the Colts.
This is fair,
Bill
man.
Belichick at home.
Yeah.
I think these Pats win by a touchdown.
This guy was talking shit about us picking the Jets last week, and I was trying to say, like, we didn't know what was going to go on with the QB situation. That seems like they figured that out. I same reason as you, Nick. They're at home. Sam Ellinger stinks. They're taking care of business in that one. Billings, you got anything to add?
Yeah, Colts are clearly just tanking again. Yeah, taking the Patriots, just a better coach team, and they're just just a better coach team.
Analysis. That's what you guys are here for. That's what
God, I'm sorry, Colts fans.
Yeah.
At least you got Dan Snyder out of the league.
Small victories. All right. Bills, Jets, second double-digit spread of the weekend. Jets at home, 13-point underdogs. Billings is taking this 13-point underdog, Jets at home. Why? Why are you backing Zach Wilson and the Jets?
Give me those home doggies, divisional game. I think they can at least cover the 13 points. Please God, at least cover the 13 points. And I think Sauce Gardner has himself a couple interceptions in this game, if not a pick six.
Nick, do you hear this?
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Josh Allen does throw some interceptions.
Heard it
every
here
now and then.
first, ladies and gentlemen.
I saw
Same.
Stephon Diggs barking at Jair Alexander coming out of the tunnel in Buffalo. He cooked him for like a 54-yard touchdown in the first half. Jair Alexander's first team All-Pro. I don't think Sauce is going to do anything in that game. I think he's going to get cooked. This game's about Zach Wilson, dude. Zach Wilson is atrocious. They're going to put Flacco in after this game. Like, Flacco's going to be playing after this game because Zach Wilson is literally that bad. He's horrible, horrible. He makes all the little sidearm throws to nobody. It's like I'm just like, what the heck are you doing, man? This is awful. Bills blow them out. Blow out. Bills are just on a roll right now.
Not horrible at banging moms, though.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Speaking of accurate, we've got Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Road favorites. Lots of road favorites and home dogs this week. Going to Washington, the Commanders, 3.5-point dogs at home. I'm the only one taking this home dog this week, the Commanders. Both of you guys are taking the Vikings. I mean, they're selling the team. Everyone's going to be happy. Definitely not what I was thinking when I put that pick in yesterday because I didn't know. But I was thinking that that half point, that's really the only reason I was thinking. The half point, that's going to happen. Commanders lose by 3. That's all I got for you.
I mean, I see it differently. This Vikings team's just too good for these Commanders. And I think they win by at least 10.
Damn. Vikings by 10?
Mm-hmm.
Put this one down. Billings, you're on that train too, huh?
I said I like the home doggies. Not in this game. Commanders suck.
Screw you, Heineke. There will be no chugging of Heinekens here for you, huh?
No.
All right.
Vikings, much better team.
This is true.
They get it done. I think they win by a touchdown. That's my prediction.
Well, Nick, just to keep you updated, I tried to send Derek Carr of the Raiders to the Colts because I knew that the Colts were like looking for a quarterback. There's a quarterback that's not in, a good situation.
Yeah.
So speaking of them, Raiders, after they got shut out 24-0, 150 yards passing to the Saints last week, looked like complete dog shit. Somehow they're favored on the road against the Jaguars. And
We'll say this. Josh McDaniels does kind of owe the Colts one.
Fair.
Yeah.
True. He should.
Now you put it like that.
Well, and this is gonna be a shit.
It was
game.
a solid, man. Get your guy out of Vegas. Save his soul.
I don't think McDaniels wants Derek Carr. I think he's gonna get rid of him after the season. The only reason I'm picking this is because the Jaguars find ways to lose games.
Yeah.
Every week I watch that team, I'm just like, dude, they just blowing this game. They find another way to leave points on the board. They're just bad. They're just not a good team. What do you got? What do you got with Trevor Lawrence love over there, Billings? Why are you picking the Jags?
Get right game for the Jags and Trevor Lawrence.
Oh man, get right game for the Jags and Trevor Lawrence, the team that I wanted to bet to win that division less than 2 weeks ago. So letting you guys know, things change quickly in this league.
Gotta
Seahawks
go with
are-
the slow and steady Titans. I've been telling you this for years, man.
I hate that team, dude. I hate that team.
They're not exciting, but damn it, they'll get you there.
Yeah.
All right. I'll skip to that game and I'll go to it right now because it's a double-digit spread. Titans Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, 12.5 points, underdogs. Chiefs have a bye. Looks like Nick is the only one taking the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Billings and I are on this Titans train. Why are you taking the Chiefs? Didn't you hear Billings' slow and steady explanation?
Chiefs at home on Sunday night. That crowd's going to be crazy. They're just going to pump extra life into that team. And the slow and steady is not going to be enough. I think the Chiefs win this by 2 touchdowns.
Billings?
I had to read this like 6 times. 6 times. Like in the last 4 games, Derrick Henry has had over 200 yards. In the last 4 straight games, over 200 yards. Nobody's talking about it. They're just gonna feed the ball to Derrick Henry, keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. So I think that will most likely keep them within the 12.5 points. They're still gonna lose, but just feed the ball to Derrick Henry, give him a 200-yard game for the 5th straight game, and keep this game close.
Yep, I'm buying what Chris is selling. I think they keep it close. That really hurts my argument that running backs matter. When Dylan tells me that, it hurts me inside. I'm just sorry. I don't really want to watch Tony Pollard play for another team, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to sign him. They're stupid, and he might look like Christian McCaffrey on another team. Dude looks pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to it. We got Seahawks, Cardinals, MVP candidate Geno Smith, and those Seahawks are underdogs against the Cardinals. I'm the only one taking the Cardinals at home here, 1.5 points. Why are you guys backing the Seahawks on the road here?
I just think the Seahawks are a lot how we were talking about the Falcons earlier. I mean, I think it's like a mirror team, and they're just exceeding expectations, and I think they actually win that division.
Wow. Fair. Billings?
I agree. I think they're probably going to win that division. And honestly, I will say this to you, Nick. At least the Seahawks fans, like, they're not throwing out their fucking efficiency ratings and stuff for Geno Smith like you are with Tua.
Hey,
at least they're being humble about it.
Geno Smith is not dealing with what Tua deals with. So I will.
Geno Smith's gotten
Come on.
plenty of hate over the last how many years? Just ask a
It's not the
Jets
same.
fan about Geno Smith.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but yes.
New York media hates everybody that plays for their team, so it's not the same.
True.
Fair analysis. Fair analysis.
But yeah,
And he played for 2 of them.
Oof. Yeah. Damn. Cardinals, I just don't like. We talked about this in week 1 where I was like, what is the Cardinals identity? We're in week 9 and I'm still like, who is this team? So yeah, Seahawks.
Kyler Murray's Call of Duty login is their identity. DeAndre Hopkins is back. They pull the upset. Actually, they're favored. They win this game outright. Go Cardinals. God, that hurt. Let's talk about teams that need some life. Rams, Buccaneers. What the hell? Bucks at home, favored by 3. One of the 2 games this week we're all in agreement on. None of us like the Rams. The Bucks looks like shit, though. Holy crap. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady and this Bucks team, Billings?
Oh man. I heard just like some interviews with like some of his former teammates and just like how committed he is to football, and like that's practically his whole life. I feel kind of sad for him now. Guy should have just retired, gone and hung out with his family. Like, I think he's in a dark place. With that said, I'm taking the Bucks.
Nick,
because that Rams team sucks.
I am taking the Bucks because I am no longer allowed to talk shit about Tom Brady within my family.
All right. Well,
I will for you, Tom Brady in a dark hole. Sorry, buddy. I'm sure those rings will keep you comfortable at night. That's it. That's all I had to say on Tom Brady. I'll move on.
Last game. Ravens at Saints. Monday Night Football. Ravens 3.5-point favorites on the road. The week of the road favorites. Wow. Nick is taking the Saints. Why? What happened here?
I want it to be different.
Fair. That's the analysis.
Yep.
Those Monday night games have been wonky. I will give you that. Speaking with the Browns on Monday. So that could happen. Anything to plug before we get out of here, Nick?
Got nothing.
Just more Tua stuff, more Tua stats, more passer ratings.
That's right.
He does lead the league in passer rating, by the way.
This hasn't been done since Marino did this back in 1994.
The deep ball is strong. The deep ball. Billions, anything? No.
Nope, I got nothing for you. Go
I'm out
Phillies.
too.
Fuck the Astros.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.